poussé par son sourire, me transperce et rougeaillit au fond de moi. Mais soudain, je pousse un cri parmi les rires, quand la foule vient l'arracher d'entre mes bras.
They say jazz is more than just music. It's a cultural phenomenon that reflects the deepest of human emotions. Well, one Korean jazz singer, Nah Youn-sun, has definitely transcended cultural barriers to become one of the world's most beloved jazz singers. The French simply love her and bestowed upon her one of their highest cultural awards, not once, but twice. She spends most of her time touring to packed audiences around the world, but she joins us today after finishing a successful performance in Korea just last month. Welcome to the Globalists.
Thank you very much for having me.
We are really glad that you joined us today.
제가 지금까지 음악을 해오면서 저에게 영감과 용기와 도전을 준 제가 정말 사랑하고 존경하는 여성 싱어들에게 바친 음반인데요.
Strange, I've seen that face before. Seen him hanging around my door.
Now, you just come off a very big performance in Seoul. What was it like?
It was great. Actually, I usually tour in Korea during winter time around Christmas, but this time I performed in spring, beautiful season in Korea, and yeah, which was really fantastic. And it was really great to present my new album alongside one of my favorite piano players, whose name is Boyan Zed from Serbia. And yeah, you know, even though there's always pressure when presenting something new like a new album, the audience showed so much love and support, and it was so great.
Yeah. Well, I said the French love you, but the Koreans actually probably love you more.
나윤선의 재즈는 다르다. 재즈의 최적화된 목소리. 전 너무너무 나윤선의 재즈를 사랑합니다. 되게 수줍어하면서도 무대 위에서는 정말 다른 사람 같은, 마치 연기자 같은 다양한 모습 보여주실 때 그 안에서 터져나오는 에너지가 공연장에서 느낄 수 있는 최고의 어떤 즐거움이 아닌가 싶고요.
보는 사람으로서 너무 인스피레이션 받아요. 그래서 정말 좋은 밤이었어요.
Let's talk about your album. This is your 12th album that released at the beginning of this year. This is also your 30th year. You don't look old enough to be 30, but it is your 30th year as a performer, and it's called Elles. Tell me what led you to make this album the way it is.
I've always wanted to make an album featuring only jazz standards for some time. And the thing is, I realized that I've never recorded only jazz standards album. So I thought maybe it's just time, since my last album was composed only with my own compositions.
It's the
Waking World.
Waking Worlds,
Yeah.
yes. The one that you wrote during the COVID era. But this was sort of almost the opposites, because those were of unique songs that came from your heart that you thought about for a while. This is a collection of songs that you've loved pretty much all throughout your life?
Yeah, and I realized that the ones that meant the most were sung by female singers. Yeah, and at the beginning I wanted to just make an album with jazz standards, but the contemporary songs resonated with me as much as jazz classics. So I just pick the songs I love, and that's why I call this name Elles. Elles means, it's a French feminine pronoun for they. And
With the S at the end?
Yeah, exactly.
Which you don't pronounce. Oh?
And yeah, behind Elles there are all those songs, all those voices, all those female singers who have profoundly influenced my career and shaped my musical journey. So it's a kind of tribute album for all these singers, such as Nina Simone,
Yes.
Bjork. Yeah.
That's your title song, Feeling Good.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a legendary performance. But you also have another one that is quoted quite well, Killing Me Softly with your song, Roberta Flack.
Yeah.
Fingers, singing my life with his words, killing me softly with his song, killing me softly with his song.
I love the one where you do it with your little music box.
Oh, music box, yeah.
I think that, so, okay, for those who, you should definitely check that out. But you do a performance with just the music box and your voice. How did that come about?
I found the music box in a very small shop in Paris, and I thought everything was programmed, but no, you could make your own scores, just punching the holes.
Oh, so the holes in
Yeah, the music sheets. So if you want to sing a song, and anybody can do it. So since I bought this, I've been carrying this everywhere I go. And you know, Roberta Flack, I saw her in Rio, in Vienne, in France. And she just played Killing Me Softly with his song, only with piano in her voice. It was just so touching. So I wanted to record this album, this song, actually.
But see, it's even more poignant when you do it with a music box. Because you sort of turn the music box as you're singing.
Yeah.
It starts with, I heard he sang a good song, and then you start, and then you do the next choir.
I heard he sang a good song. I heard he had a style. And so I came to see him, to listen for a while. And there he was. This
How did you think of that?
Actually, you know, you can't slow down. You can't just sing with the tempo you want. And so every night can be different. Yeah, sometimes I want to do it faster, and sometimes I really want to take time, and then, yeah. And the good thing is, there are many people who know this song, so they sing along with me, and it's really touching.
So they will start, I heard he sang a good song, and then, oh my goodness. But I've also, your opening title for your Elles album, Feeling Good, you also have something in your hand also. What is that?
It's called Kalimba. Yeah, it's African instrument. And it's funny that every time I play that, the people think, oh, it's Asian instrument. But no, it's African. So it's kind of funny. I'm Asian, I'm Korean, I play African instrument. Sometimes I sing American jazz standard in front of European audience. This is the beauty of jazz, actually.
That you are just covering the world in so many different ways. But do you like being a little in control of your music as well? Not just your singing, but also the music as well?
Yeah, this is very small instrument, and when I only play this, it's very silent. The thing is that you can really feel the energy from the audience when you are just with only this small instrument. I feel a kind of spontaneous conversations with the audience, and then this positive energy with full of love. And suddenly I feel it. So when you're with many musicians on stage, sometimes you can't really feel it, directly. And that's why I love to play this small music,
That's
music
almost
box.
what jazz is about, really. I mean, jazz is not, being on stage in front of a lot of people. It's the image of being in a, smoke-filled room underground and, people drinking and right in front of you.
Yeah, right.
Is that the experience you want to sort of recreate?
Live performance allowed this intimacy and immediacy, only this moment. And that's why I don't really like, doing a video. Yeah, I know that to get a broader audience, you need to do this kind of things. But sometimes I want, this moment remains kind of secret between audience and me. So I really like this intimacy.
I understand. I feel like when they videotape you, everyone thinks that's it. But, the next time you do it, it may be entirely different. It's another
Absolutely.
experience.
Yeah.
I get it, So this is why you should definitely check out our show, because that's where you see the real Nah Youn-sun.
Et je crispe mes poings, maudissant la foule qui me vole, l'homme qu'elle m'avait donné, que je n'ai jamais retrouvé.
You're a Korean jazz singer, which is not common. And you started 30 years ago, which was even stranger. Why jazz? And you went to France to study. But you went to France to study chanson, which is a different kind of singing. How did you get from chanson to jazz?
I discovered jazz almost by accident. I never imagined becoming a jazz singer. And originally, I just wanted to learn how to sing, but didn't know which style suited me. So I just asked one of my musician friends what kind of music I can do, and he suggested jazz, explaining that it's the foundation of pop music. So he told me that if you learn it, you would sing anything. So, whoa, that's very interesting. And then my love for France began in high school, when a teacher introduced me to French chansons. And they were completely different from what I heard on the radio at that time. And so it really sparked my interest. And this musician friend mentioned that one of the oldest jazz schools in Europe was located in Paris.
Oh, really?
So I said, maybe I can learn both. That's why I chose to study jazz in France. But if I had known what jazz was earlier, I might have chosen to study in the States instead of France.
That is true.
Yeah, but I think there is only a choice, not a wrong choice.
Yeah.
So I'm very, very happy. It's actually, France is a place where you can really explore the different style of music, and the country provided me with numerous great opportunities. I owe a lot to France, I think.
I'm sure France really took you in their hearts. Maybe because it was France. A Korean young girl wanting to become jazz singer was a very unusual thing for the French. Even the Americans would, I don't know. But even the French would find that difficult. Did you have people turning to you and say, why is an Asian, why is a Korean wanting to become a jazz singer?
Yeah, I still remember that the first jazz vocal lessons I took at school, I was so shocked because most of the singers had a kind of low, husky and deep voice.
Ella Fitzgerald.
Yeah, and as I'm a kind of soprano, I tried everything to imitate them. You know, I meticulously observed every single breath they took, every single note they sang. I just try hard to sound like them. But the thing is, no matter how hard you tried, you can't really replicate the same sound. So one of my teachers told me that jazz is not just one color. It's like a palette of multiple colors. So you can do your jazz with your own voice. So he really encouraged me, and then he recommended me some albums by European jazz singers. And yeah, it was completely different. You know, when they interpreted some song, it was, it felt like a whole new experience. So I decided to let go of any insecurity about my unconventional voice, for jazz vocals. And I just focused on being myself and being sincere and honest. The funny thing is, from that moment on, the things falling into place, and I started having more and more concert opportunities. Yeah.
Now, long time ago, I remember. Long time ago, used to walk the streets of this old town. Many memories, it's always home.
제 아빠께서 한 달 전에 이 하늘나라로 가셨어요. 그래서 아빠 없이 하는 첫 공연입니다. 네, 여기 같이 계실 거라고 생각하고요. 순간순간 모습이 떠오르겠죠. 정말 보고 싶습니다.
I was so sad to hear about the passing of your father. My condolences, and it was very recent. Now, your father was a great influence in your life. He is a legend in the Korean choir world. Your mother is also one of Korea's first musical actresses. You grew up in a very musical household. Everyone around you in your family has musical or artistic talents. What kind of influence did your parents have on you?
Thanks for your condolences. I really appreciate it. And losing my father, who was a mentor and my musical hero, has been very difficult. But his legacy continues to guide me and inspire me every day. But since my youngest age, I've had chance to be surrounded by music thanks to my parents. And I practically grew up at their concerts, discovering the magic of the human voice and its ability to deeply touch people's hearts. And I think this exposure planted a seed of interest in my singing, I think. And I'm very grateful. And even now, my mother gives me vocal lessons over the phone, no matter where I am.
Wow. Yes.
And I'm very lucky, actually. Yeah.
I know it's a special relationship between a daughter and the father. There's something, especially when they're in a similar field, I think. It's a little different from a father and a son. And this recent concert was just after you lost your father.
Yeah.
Was it different? Did you feel his, I don't want to put words in your mouth, but did you feel that this was something maybe for him?
I'm sure that he was there. Yeah, he was with me. And I felt his presence. And he was a #1 supporter. And after a year of study jazz in France, and I told him that, Dad, I think it's not good for me. I'll never be able to sing jazz. And he said, no, just keep doing. You can't do it. So, and
even though he had never, jazz was not his, and he knew that jazz wasn't really something that Koreans were well knowledgeable about.
But when I told him that I'm going to study in France, he gave me a little, very small book. And this book was written in 1968, a year before I was born. So it means that he was already interested in jazz.
Wow.
So it was amazing.
So he felt that was what you were destined to do?
I think so, maybe. But you know, after I graduated from university, I worked in a fashion company, and then I didn't know what I really want to do. And yeah, maybe he knew it. I don't know. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I mean, I'm sure he would have been proud of you even if you stayed in fashion. But I think that maybe when you went into jazz, it was something that really meant a lot to him.
Yeah.
I can see that. So you talked a lot with your father?
Yeah, a lot. My mom, she used to give me the vocal lessons, like you should stand like this, you should breathe
the
like
posture.
this, and the posture and everything. But my father, he didn't really mention about the details, the techniques. Yeah, he used to talk about the spirit and my attitude, and then the way of thinking, way of treating and receiving the music, and the dialogue, communication between musicians, etc. So, yeah, he was a great teacher.
Well, he lived a life of a musician, so that would have been great. Now, although, you know, he fully supported and encouraged you in the world of jazz, jazz is a relatively new thing to Koreans. Do you still find that jazz for Koreans is not very approachable, or has things changed?
Jazz history in Korea is relatively short, and I think it might take some time to establish. But at the same time, you know, we can't really compare to other countries with longer jazz history, like France, which has more than 450 jazz festivals. Can you imagine?
Really?
Yeah. But I've noticed that more and more people are becoming interested in jazz, and we have more and more jazz festivals. Yeah, such as Jarasam Jazz Festival. It's one of the biggest in Asia.
Yes.
And
by a family member, if I was one.
And yeah, so I'm very positive, but I never impose jazz on anyone because music is a highly subjective experience. So if you don't like it, yeah, don't take it. But I always say that music is like food in some ways. You know, it's not good to be too picky with food, like only eating one kind of food. And yeah, the music is the same. Actually, there are so many amazing kinds of music from all over the world. So I think if you have just an open mind to try to taste a new taste and try to, you know, experience the new taste and new music, it's the same thing for me. So yeah.
Do you see in Korea future young artists that can provide this kind of variety of menu, a jazz menu on the Korean musical palette?
I think there are already fantastic jazz artists in Korea, and I anticipate many more in the future. And yeah, because Koreans are quite musical people, so I'm very positive. But I just want to encourage them to, how can I say, to express themselves uniquely. This will be the key of success. Don't imitate, just be yourself, and don't afraid to explore new horizons. Of course, I still have a lot to learn, but I've kind of done this, so anyone can do it.
So if I can do it, anyone can do
Of
it, kind of
course,
thing.
yes.
And you should all have your own color.
Yes.
I mean, it's been 30 years. So Nah Youn-sun at the beginning of her career and Nah Youn-sun now, are they two different people?
I don't think so. Just maybe from my experience, maybe I have just a little more open mind. You know, jazz has been open to the world and embracing diversity and welcoming new influences and ideas. And I just want to be like jazz, actually. So yeah, I've been trying.
So we shall look forward to even another new version of Nah Youn-sun in the years to come.
Thank you.
And come visit us again.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Yes. And that's it for me. I'll be back next week with another globalist who's putting Korea on the map. Son Ji out.